What's going on, guys? Avengers Endgame. It's in theaters now, smashing records. It's the 22nd film from over the course of 11 years. So, we at Screen Junkies decided to take on the pretty simple task of ranking every film in the MCU. Yeah, I'm not saying it takes heroes to figure this out, but I'm not saying that.
We've polled almost everybody here. They sent their rankings. They've been averaged out, so this is our composite ranking, but it's not the final ranking. Does anything jump out at anyone? Is there any point of contention that we need to discuss right now?
Doctor Strange being that low is criminal just on visuals and the third act
Yes.
alone. The fact that they broke the chain of the underwhelming same CGI army clashing together third act.
I had it at the last one. To be fair, I also didn't see it in the theater. I saw it at home, so that could make a difference.
It's not a good laptop movie.
It's not a good laptop movie.
I ranked it very low. I also saw it on a laptop for the first time.
Let's take it out of the 17 spot. Let's just put it to the side. Thor the Dark World. Does anyone have any problem with keeping Thor the Dark World at number 21? Or do you feel that another one of these films deserves the next to last spot?
I think
Ant-Man and the Wasp deserves the next to last spot.
I agree.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Wow.
So why
I do not agree with that.
Why do you think it deserves
It's more that I think Thor the Dark World deserves like a little more love. The Thor-Loki relationship is really good in it. Their play against each other.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is just a way to explain what happens in Endgame for me. There's like 20 villains, and none of them matter.
I appreciate just a Paul Rudd big budget comedy / heist movie.
With a giant
Whether you wrap
ship.
Marvel stuff around it or not,
Yeah.
that's just automatically in the middle of the pack for me.
We'll put Ant-Man and the Wasp over here in Doctor Strangeland for now. Avengers Age of Ultron, number 19.
My gut is that I didn't love it when I walked out of the theater. I kind of walked out and was like, I feel like I shouldn't be going, another Avengers movie that soon into the MCU.
It felt a little try-hard to me in the same way that Deadpool 2 was trying to be funny. Like the glib one-liners when they're re-introing the characters in the beginning of Ultron. I'm just like, oh, forced joke.
Language.
See, I disagree. It had language, which I think is one of the
Language
better Captain America moments.
And for gosh sake, watch your language.
The drinking scene is great, but that's kind of the highlight.
I mean,
for
I
me.
think
The hammer.
Yeah, the
all
hammer.
these
Hammer looking
movies
scene.
have like a fun scene or two, but this one it really is the one that's burdened by the weight of so much overarching story, and I think they still hadn't figured out how to integrate that with its own original story. It's doing so much world building for the MCU that it really drags it down.
I rank Captain Marvel very low. Of the origin stories, it was the one for me that worked the least. I would put Doctor Strange above Captain Marvel. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, I might.
I agree with you. I think you could actually take Thor and Captain Marvel and just port them down to 17 and 18 instead of 15. 16. That's me.
This column seems to be our trouble area right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
It's
all of
always the
these movies
midsection.
go. It's always the midsection. It's where do all of these movies go?
You guys all really like that first Thor, huh?
I'm a big fan of the first Thor.
I like it more than First Avenger.
I like Hemsworth. Hemsworth clearly got the character right off and
Yeah.
just jumps in, but that's all that works about that first Thor movie.
I think Loki works. I think Anthony
Cat
Hopkins
Dennings
works. I
Yeah.
I like that scene on Jotunheim, the big battle with the hammer against all the frost giants in the beginning.
But I would put it above Guardians 2. Captain America: The First Avenger. I would not move that down any lower.
Yeah, I think
I loved it.
All right, so the first Avenger staying in at 14. We know that for sure. We have Doctor Strange and Guardians 2 over here. We have Thor, Captain Marvel, and these two empty spots here.
Y'all really love Doctor Strange.
I really do.
I would say if it's a choice between the two, I'd put Guardians 2 at 17.
And then shift Thor and Captain Marvel down and
Okay.
put Doctor Strange.
Doctor
See-
Strange at 13.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who knew that this was going to be the one where we all stopped speaking
I mean,
to each other?
There's so much good stuff in that movie.
Let's just see what that looks like.
Yeah.
How about that? So
Let's
you
just try it on.
Let's just try it on and see how it looks. So Captain Marvel moves down one, yes?
Yeah.
What's at number 15?
Guardians 2.
Guardians 2 is better than Captain America: The First Avenger.
I would flip Captain Marvel and Guardians 2, but I know that's a losing battle.
I'd flip Guardians 2 and Captain America: First Avenger.
I would too, actually.
What do you guys have against captains?
I have nothing against
I
Captain.
hate a captain.
I'll flip-flop Captain Marvel and Thor right now. I will flip-flop Captain Marvel and Thor.
Do we have another vote?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I would do
Flip-flop
that,
and Marvel?
yeah.
Okay,
I'm in for
all
that.
right.
No, I agree with that.
He's climbing up the charts. The
So-
90s charts.
I believe, if I recall, this is where Captain Marvel was initially.
Whew. Okay, there's been some back and forth, there's been some switcheroos, some movies were put off to the side, then brought back in, put in timeout, taken out of timeout, but we're about halfway through. Let's see how it stacks up so far. 22, The Incredible Hulk. 21, Thor, The Dark World. 20, Iron Man 2. 19, Avengers Age of Ultron. 18, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 17, Thor. 16, Captain Marvel. 15, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 14, Captain America, The First Avenger. 13, Doctor Strange. It was already hard getting that part of the list, but now we got the top 12 films to figure out. All of our favorites in there. How are we gonna do this? Whatever it takes. Screen Junkies, assemble. Well, we're already assembled. We're already sitting in the room, so yeah, let's just go back and take a look, huh?
Big picture, anything people have a problem with, a ranking, something too
Civil
low,
War.
something
Where do
too
we have
high.
Civil War?
Civil War
9,
right now is
9.
at number 9.
That feels too low to
That's
me.
partly my fault. I ranked it pretty low. I don't like it. I don't know.
Like the tentpole action sequences in that movie can stand up against any.
The Cap Iron Man Bucky fight isn't. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it's 2 against 1. It's not even remotely fair.
What are you talking about?
It's not a good even matchup. Captain
an
America
awesome
and the Winter
matchup.
Soldier both against just one Iron Man.
Cap
And
got to make out with his niece. I put it at number 2.
I'm gonna make another unpopular plea right off the
All
bat.
right. And Lon wants to-
Spider-Man: Homecoming too high.
I think it's too low.
It's too
Too
low.
low.
Not a fan.
Why?
So good.
I know.
Speak your piece about Spider-Man: Homecoming.
It's Michael Keaton is great. He's a terrific villain. Other than that, the movie's a lot of stuff we've seen 100 times already. It doesn't really do anything to blow up the expectations of a Spider-Man movie. It's just this great Vulture performance and character.
The substitute father mentor of Tony Stark and Spider-Man.
It's really cool.
It was beautiful. It was like a buddy movie without putting him in the title. It was great.
And also, I thought it did some fun introduction of ooh, the spider suit can now do cool, interesting things. I thought it really introduced all the new tech
and they
really
avoided
well.
retreading
We do
on
that,
all the
that's
other
in
Spider-Man
Superman.
movies because they didn't start with the origin story, so you hit the ground running.
Number 12 and number 11, Iron Man 3 and Ant-Man.
Okay.
Ants.
Does anyone advocate it?
Ants. Purely for ants.
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 So it goes to number 1.
Does anyone want to advocate for either one of these two entering the top 10, or should we just leave them where they are?
People hate Iron Man 3 for the twist. I love the idea of the twist. The only thing that makes it fail is the fact that the twist is that it's boring, like a boring blonde dude that is the actual guy. I like the twist of the Mandarin being a fake out.
I really like
agree.
that, yeah.
But then, the fact that it's just this guy who's like, I have dragon tattoos? What?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Guy Pearce with dragon tattoos,
That's
okay?
the guy with the dragon tattoo.
And I don't hate Iron Man 3. It's just up against
I
this
actually
Murrell's
really like
World
Iron
Yeah.
Man
stuff.
3.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think there's a little bit too much time of I'm stuck in Tennessee. I don't have any of my powers. I've got to figure myself out. That drags a little bit. Other than that, I actually think Iron Man 3 is a lot of fun.
Is there any
He has
interest?
lunch at Neptune's Net. That's a great seafood
That is a
place.
great seafood
True
place.
story.
OG Avengers should be much higher on the list. It should definitely be higher than Infinity War.
I don't agree.
I tend to disagree. The third act of the Avengers is fantastic, but I feel like the first act is a little bit of a slog. To me, the first Avengers movie feels like it is 100% a comic book team up, and so many of these other movies transcend
movies.
that and are able to make it more than its source material. That's why I would advocate moving it down a little bit. It's not that I don't like it.
I think it handled an ensemble better than Infinity War did. Infinity War had a heavier lift of an ensemble, but I still think Avengers managed its moving parts better.
Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming. What do we want to do with them?
I'd put Homecoming over Civil War, but I also love you guys too much and I don't want to fight anymore.
It's a great discussion.
I think Iron Man is being taken for granted and
I agree.
is now criminally underrated.
Yes.
In this list we have.
It should at least be in the top 5.
It's a movie that absolutely succeeds on its own terms and doesn't require anything else to appreciate it. This takes non-comic book nerds, people who've never heard of Tony Stark in their whole life, and makes them fall in love with the character and get into comics in the first place. So to be able to do that with a, at the time, B or C level comic book character, it wasn't Batman, wasn't Superman, wasn't even the X-Men. is Titanic.
I think Jeff Bridges gets forgotten. He's such a great duplicitous villain.
He's got that one great, Tony Stark built this in a cave!
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave!
The one that people would probably underline is Avengers Endgame. Are we
Recency
caught
bias.
up in the moment, and is it too high to be in the top 5? I don't know. I think it's a really
I
good
think
movie.
5 is a great spot for it.
Yeah, I mean,
And I do think as time goes on and that movie sits with us longer, we'll say the same thing, like, wow, great third act, but man, the beginning, like, it's a lot of time travel that doesn't quite add up, and a lot of just, like, it's a greatest hits clip show, you know, it's not bringing as much new to the table. They're just kind of,
The spice must flow,
oh,
Smash.
jeez.
damn!
I mean,
It's like the finale of Seinfeld.
clip
Bring
show.
everyone
The
back.
clip show isn't they
Finale
go
of
back.
Seinfeld was clearly not great.
I would like it if if Endgame ended with them all in jail discussing shirt button placement, then I would have been into it.
And just Starr, let's be fair, when at the end of our screening, we literally turned to each other and said, who doesn't love a greatest hits album?
Yeah.
I would move Thor Ragnarok to 6, and I would put Endgame at number 4. That's what I would do.
I'd co-sign
Mad
that.
about that.
No, I don't agree with
Ragnarok's
that.
my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Number one.
honestly, Ragnarok's one of the most
But it's also
entertaining.
number one.
I have
visually-
to take away my bias, because my bias is always going to be with just straight up balls out comedy. So
Well,
I
no, you
better
don't have to.
take
It's,
that out.
it's a group ranking. You don't have to take out your bias. We're all
I mean, if it
biased.
was
All right, well, then
just the
suck it.
funniest.
I like Thor
If it
Ragnarok.
was just the funniest, I think that, maybe that'd be fair to put that aside. But it's also maybe the best looking one, like the best designed one of all.
It
Yes.
actually looks
Kirby
like
on
its
a
own-
screen.
Yeah.
It brought that universe to life in a way that all these movies kind of have the veneer of like a nice TV show, but that one looks like a movie.
Endgame had it had so much riding on it, and it delivered. And like I'm a jaded but it made me well up, and I didn't think I was gonna. I was reading all these reactions. I'm like,
Yep.
damn it! If it didn't give me feels,
The cumulative impact of the MCU experience, or is that just that movie?
I don't know.
That's
that
what
has
the
to
movie
count.
is.
Yeah.
No, I really think the problem with Endgame is not the finale and the third act and the send-off and the way they tied it all up. For me, it's a slog to get there. I'm sorry, it took a really long time.
You know what's crazy? Because you said the first Avengers and Endgame felt like that, Gio. It's the inverse for me. Like, neither of those feel like a slog to me, and Infinity War was the one where I was like, just checking. That was a watch check. I'm not very good at improv.
If we're going to remove the discussion of Endgame being in the top 5, could we agree to rank it at number 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as
Yeah,
Guardians stays number 1.
It's weird. There was so much jibber jabber before this, but now it's like
That top 3 is
There's a
pretty-
method to the madness.
pretty
Hal.
impressive.
The
Yeah.
only thing that keeps Black Panther from 1 or 2 for me is the third act.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
CGI train fight is the only thing that kind of knocks it down a little for me.
Guardians is why it's not my number one. Was the third act dance-off finale, but that's kind of a problem. You can find some problem with every one of these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're none of them perfect. But I actually like the dance off itself. I'm not crazy about, but once they all grab hold of the Power Stone, it's actually a really nice moment.
yeah, and it fits tonally with
Yeah.
the movie.
So let's take a vote. Is this
Yeah,
our
okay.
consensus ranking?
Democracy is compromised.
Look at that.
Democracy is
Wow.
compromised. There we go.
Six
Yeah.
hands in the air.
The definitive ranking
That's
of
it.
the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah.
Universe.
Every
it
other
in.
channels is wrong.
Send it to
Yeah.
Feige. Lock it in.
And more than every other channel, specifically at home, yours is also wrong.
Yeah.
Mic drop. End of video.
That was a joke.
Wow, that was intense. It was such a long journey that we almost had to break for lunch a little bit later than we had expected. But we got there. Here are the top 12 films in the MCU. Number 12, Ant-Man. Number 11, Iron Man 3. Number 10, The Avengers. Number 9, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 8, Avengers Infinity War. Number 7, Captain America Civil War. Number 6, Avengers Endgame. Number 5, Iron Man. Number 4, Thor Ragnarok. Number 3, Black Panther. Number 2, Captain America The Winter Soldier. And number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. There it is, the definitive list. Etch it into stone and put it in a museum for posterity. What's your list? Do you agree with ours? Do you hate ours? Let us know in the comments section below. We want to know. Thanks for watching Screen Junkies. Hit me up on Twitter. Bye-bye.